Hello, everyone, and welcome to another video. And not actually a video, but you can see there's a podcast setup that we've done. And then I'm going to be introducing our guest today. My guest today is Mr. Shivam, and he runs an online platform. Again, a car enthusiast just like me. In fact, I think more than me. He runs an Instagram page called as the Cornea Impression, and also a YouTube channel on that. So just make sure to check that out first, because he puts some amazing content on Instagram. Especially Shivam, I'm a big fan of yours. Of all the photos that you post, which is really, really amazing. Like the quality of it is amazing. So,
Thank you so much.
and also he's also a contributor to Drivetribe, and goes by the name Shivam, right? And
Yes,
Drivetribe is actually, if you are a fan of the trio, which people say, and in the car community, when you say a trio, there are only three people. That's Jeremy Clarkson, that's James May, and Richard Hammond. So a platform that has been started by them, and he is a big time contributor to that platform also, and he's been also urging me to join, but then I'm just like,
he's lazy.
yeah, yeah. Couldn't have put that in a better way. So I am coming. Don't worry.
I'm
So
waiting for
anyway,
you.
yes. So Shivam, just run us through, like, what exactly, like, you do on Drivetribe, because I read all your articles also, and I read you've
Yep.
done Aston Martin, Ferraris, and this guy drives like all the luxurious cars, man. So
Yeah,
just tell
that's
me.
been touchwood. Lucky year.
Touch.
2019. 2019 has been
Oh
great for me.
yes, it only goes upwards now. So.
I agree. I agree. Waiting for to get out of the house to do some epic shit.
Oh, trust me. So yeah,
Yeah. So hi viewers. Hi everybody. My name is Shivam Punjabi. I run my Instagram page, the Cornea Impression. It's not car centric, but it's the way I look at life in general.
yes,
So, yeah, it's a bit philosophical. So yeah,
but there
but
are cars, which is most
there are
important. I'm
only
sorry.
cars. There are only cars.
Yeah.
It used to have other stuff on it, as you can see some photographs at the back. They're
Oh
picked by
yeah,
me, like architecture and
wonderful.
all that. But yeah, I'm a photographer. I specialize in
Mm-hmm.
automotive photography, and I also create automotive content, which is
Hmm.
writing and reviewing cars. Plus,
Yeah.
I am the Middle East and India ambassador for Drivetribe. That means I
Wow.
manage a team of writers, I create content myself, and I make sure viewers from various parts of the world get to see the best automotive content out there on Drivetribe. So, like Mitesh said, Drivetribe has been started by Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May, the holy trinity of automotive journalism, enthusiast,
Yes.
production, broadcast, whatever you call it. They are by far the most entertaining and the best leading automotive journalist
But
on.
can I say something? Like, I think
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
90% of where our enthusiasm and the passion comes is all because of these three guys. Let's be honest. Like
Yes, I agree completely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
I
10%
agree
is from our side, okay, but then 90% is when you see them, pushing so hard and then working so hard. Like, you just
Yeah,
know that dreams aren't made overnight, but then they eventually do happen, when you see them.
correct.
So
Exactly,
which is just,
exactly.
yes. So viewers, what we have gathered today is an interesting topic for you. So while we are all going through the pandemic, which is the COVID-19, so there was an interesting topic that we wanted to discuss, and that was like, what happens to the car industry from now on? Because already it was sort of crippling since 2019 because of the pressure of sales, and inventing newer stuff, like putting their budgets into R&Ds, where they had to develop newer newer sort of engines, and also technologies which would be fuel efficient also. So I just wanted to just start off from Shivam, you, like, what do you think? This is just a first, like an opening comment that we'll start with, because I have a lot of facts and figures that we can discuss on after that to support the argument of where it is headed. So
Correct. So my initial thought process, and I could be completely wrong about it,
Yeah.
but my initial thought process is that we're going to be seeing a lot more of people buying personal vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a car. It could be a motorcycle, a scooter, a moped,
Yeah.
a bicycle, electric scooter, anything. But I am going to be seeing people actually avoid as much as shared public transport,
Yeah.
or even for the matter, Ubers or the
Right.
the app
Sharing.
services for the sharing apps for
Mm-hmm.
ride sharing apps for such as Uber, Ola, Lyft, etc., etc.,
Yes.
etc. So
Mm-hmm.
my whole perspective on it is that we'll see a major uptake in first time new owners buying personal vehicles of
Yeah.
some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean the luxury vehicles, but I'm actually
Just.
expecting a rise in all the budget entry level models across the range.
Yeah.
So you know, that's the biggest change I'm going to be seeing. I'm also going to be seeing that uh, the whole EV structure might take a bit, uh, might get sidetracked a bit, because budgets will get allocated to catering to existing staff, infrastructure, marketing, rather
Yeah.
than R&D.
Mm.
Uh, I would also see that brands developing a new hybrid tech with smaller, cheaper cars or smaller, cheaper
Yeah.
vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of petrol EV kind of structure, and hydrogen or whatever tech they are developing on their side, and whatever is convenient as per the
Yeah.
infrastructure in
Mm-hmm.
their country or their region, you know, or their
Mm-hmm.
target market. And we'll see a lot more budget and much more optionable cars coming in. So, example, tomorrow you want to buy a C class,
Mm-hmm.
you would be probably able to buy it at a much cheaper price because you could option it to a basic price point
Yeah.
rather than go for the top end full spec C200 with all their
Yeah.
frills and options. You might just end up spending, saving actually maybe 50,000 dirhams or 40,000 dirhams because you could get that budget option, which
Mm-hmm.
dollar terms is 10,000 to $12,000, which
Dollars.
$15 give or take, which is a significant saving in my opinion, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you're buying something at this point of time, you know.
Yeah.
So
So,
there will be consumption. Sorry, just there will be
look,
consumption, but the whole strategy of consumption and the whole style of consumption will change, and that's 100% guaranteed.
yeah, so it's very interesting that the first point that you opened up was like people giving up the public transportation, because just yesterday I came to know about a figure that happened in the UK right now. So 45% of the people have already started giving up public transportation.
Oh wow, I
And
didn't know that.
yes, it's officially a figure that there's a data global website which came out with that. So people have started giving up. 45% is a big number. And then if you think even 20% switching to private vehicles or anything,
Correct.
so that's a big number. So I think what can also happen is manufacturers may need to start developing economical vehicles also, because not everyone will be like just buying luxurious cars, but for sure
Correct.
there will be a market where you may see a spike in the hatchback, the
Definitely.
and sort of premium hatchback also
Yeah.
somewhere, where people will be willing to spend and go that extra mile in saving that much of uh, the pain of all the lockdowns that we are in it. Because
Correct.
let's say if you have a personal vehicle right now, it's so easier to get around, it's convenient, you can just get in and you know that it's for sure safe because it's your car. So
Correct.
I
Yeah.
mean, in a way, it pushes all the efforts made to promote all the public transportation in the back seat also. Like,
Correct. You see, with social distancing norms getting set across all the world,
hmm,
because to be honest, till the vaccine is not there, we are going to have some cases or the
yeah,
other, and only immunity building and social distancing is what is going to help you avoid it, right?
yeah,
There's no other
hmm,
way to actually
hmm,
or basically get COVID and then recover from it, which is the
yeah,
extreme way of doing. Obviously, is not recommended to anybody.
yeah. That's not the most healthiest way, I think.
It's not the healthiest way, because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this will have some side effects as well
yeah,
on the body later on. So it's
yeah.
best not to contract it then to get suffer from it at any given point of
It's
time.
because interesting because there is another report. I have read so many reports in my free time now that
Yeah.
the social distancing wouldn't go till 2022 until we have a proper vaccine for that.
Yes. Agreed.
Till then,
Agreed.
so
Agreed.
that's like a long time what you're
Yeah.
looking at now.
Yeah.
So, but then
So when
again
you're
now,
looking at
hmm,
public transport, right?
yeah,
So when you're talking about public transport, Dubai Metro, which we are based, has announced that they would be opening up, which was shut down, right?
yes,
And then they are going to be having measures in place, which would be like leaving 2 seats
yeah,
distance, right?
yes,
Same would apply to buses, etc.,
buses,
etc.
yeah,
Even taxis, there will be some kind of norms coming into that as well.
yeah,
Uh, Even if people go back to public transport, the efficiency of public transport is already compromised, right?
it is, yes,
It can't take the amount of capacity it was built to. So, example, it could take a train could take 200 people. Now it's
yeah.
taking what, 1/4, what
30%, yes,
30
essentially,
percent.
yes.
Yeah, so that's what, 200 people is what, 50 people, 60 people.
That's
That's
it.
yeah. So imagine the cost of that. So imagine the cost of running a metro 24 hours of the day or whatever, train for that long period of time
Hmm.
with 30% occupancy for the next 8 months or 9 months. Same for the buses, same for other things.
Yeah,
That across the world is going to have a huge impact on the economy in terms of spending, right?
yeah,
The operators are not going to make money. Their staff requirements are going to go down. Uh, their consumption of electricity, power, cleaning material, blah blah blah. There's so many
it's
variables. It's impossible to actually predict a flow on that. But
the, mhm.
uh, the only vehicle that comes to my point being, it could be a genius vehicle at this point in time, is the Renault Twingo or Twingo. Do you remember
Twizy,
that?
Twizy,
Twizy.
yes,
Yes,
oh
that's the
yes,
one. Yeah. So
it's
imagine if everybody came up with a two-seater, efficient, cheap to operate vehicle,
yeah, yeah, it
and I think that could just revolutionize the automotive sector again. Just imagine a small 800 cc or 600 cc engine in that.
which is,
It's not too expensive, yeah, and enough
yeah.
for your daily needs.
So there is like it may open up a big market in that sense, the sub 1 liter, between 1 liter engine, that whole market where people are looking for an affordable car. And then,
Correct.
so because even the figures that I was seeing at, like so obviously the car industry, as I mentioned before, was going under a massive slowdown before, since 2019, where
Correct.
by December there were about like 80,000 job cuts worldwide that had happened. And this is like a Bloomberg report which said. And because even Audi and Daimler, they had removed about 20,000 jobs. And the overall units that were produced for the car were obviously down because the car sales were down themselves. So where do the obviously, because car companies aren't going to now invest, as you said also, that electric cars are going to take a little bit of a backseat, or it may actually go the opposite way, where they
It
just
could.
go
It could.
all out, like let's now start implementing finally, because now we all start from scratch again. So let's just,
But then with electric, we have a whole different perspective in terms of the infrastructure, right?
yeah,
Uh, that comes into play. EV charging supplies
yeah,
of enough EVs, parking spaces, chargers, a
yeah,
whole bunch of infrastructure, which I don't know which country will have the money to implement, because any which ways before also, the only way EV could
mm,
have taken off or got to is where government subsidies and government spending and
yeah,
investment in that sector was the one able to drive growth.
mm-hmm.
On a personal level, brands, I don't think, have that kind of money, did not have it as well, and don't have it anymore to spend more.
Yeah,
So I think that people are actually going to taking their money and be spending it on more norms and more regulations in terms of avoiding pandemics like this in the future, rather than EV, right?
yeah,
Uh,
EV.
and then obviously then you have the whole argument whether EV is actually sustainable and not sustainable, and
Oh,
the,
that, yeah,
that is a whole different
that's a big topic again, like a very
yeah. So
detailed topic that you can go on and on about.
yeah, exactly. So there's a catch 22 over there as well. Um, I think for the next 2 years, I think we should focus on the known devils than the unknown devils.
That makes sense because again, the let's say if you're in UAE, again, electric cars are still not very feasible because again the range, because you know how much you travel every day.
Correct.
When you get out, the moment you get out, you easily travel 50-100 kilometers.
Easy,
That's
easy,
easy.
easy,
And
easy.
again, you don't find chargers so easily because the infrastructure needs to be laid down, which will happen
Correct.
eventually. So maybe on the sides they continue doing that, while I think the most useful option right now is the hybrid car. A hybrid car is a perfect setup. And I
Correct.
mean,
It is.
I've already driven a few, and the amount of range and the efficiency that you get from it, it's pretty amazing, and it fits the scenario right now. Only thing is, if
Correct.
they can be made affordable, like it can be like a mass produce where everyone can have it for now.
A hybrid car now, obviously the efficiency of the hybrid vehicles, such as a Toyota Camry hybrid or the Lexus ES 300,
Mm-hmm.
which is a hybrid as well.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't driven those yet to actually see the efficiency in that yet. Uh, but when it comes to spending, I would not put my money down on it, to be honest.
Oh,
If I'm
okay.
spending that kind, I'm spending that kind of money, I'm going to go out for a full-on petrol car.
Yeah,
To
but you still have RAV4, right? Like let's say a Toyota RAV4 hybrid.
Correct, which is a hybrid, yes.
Yes. So now that is again what you pay, like a 10-15 thousand premium over the normal car.
That's what, 150,000 dirhams, give or take.
140, yeah, it starts from.
Yeah, so that's what, $40,000, right? Give or take,
Yeah, yeah.
equivalent. Yeah, yeah.
40,000,
So
yes.
40,000, yes. So 140,000 dirhams is going to get me close to an Audi A4 money.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
Again.
yeah, it's going to get me close to an Audi A4 money, and I remember I bought my Audi A4, my first Audi A4 for 156,000 dirhams.
Oh,
Okay, which is
wow.
$45,000. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at that as a benchmark. Why would I buy a RAV4 for Audi money? It's as simple as that.
It gets you German engineering
It gets me German,
for.
it gets me the premium brand, the whole build, the technology, all of that. And I'm a sucker for well built cars,
Oh,
and
yes.
I'm a sucker for that.
After
It's because of
driving a BMW, I can say that. Massive
yes,
fan now.
exactly. Yeah.
So, uh,
So
yeah. So, again, that point is where you still, because I am waiting if someday when Audis and BMWs they start making those affordable cars, which is if they start making.
So, did you know the A3, the Audi had the new A3 hatchback limousine, which was launched recently, right?
Yeah, I
And
read, but I did not get
yeah,
time to.
and you should just go look at the photographs of the interiors on that. It's
Mhm.
brilliant looking. Uh, it looks so futuristic. I mean, it looks really on par with the top of the line
Mm.
A7, A8, Q8 kind of
Mhm.
interiors. And the A3, the interior looks brilliant. I mean, phenomenal. And then Mercedes has a new uh, CLA limousine that they're calling it, or A-class limousine that they're calling
A
it.
class, yeah.
And BMW has the 2 Series Grand Coupe, which is a four-door
Yeah.
hatchback. They took a two-door
Two
coupe
door,
and
yeah.
made it a four-door car, elongated. Obviously, it's not going to be the most comfortable for adults on long journeys, but
Hmm.
it's going to fit a small family, maybe two
Yeah.
children at the back, and it works in these situations. When you have brands making. So today, the cheapest car you can buy from Audi, BMW, Mercedes, is at $30,000.
Yeah.
The cheapest ones from 110,000 dirhams,
Hmm.
give or
Hmm.
take.
Hmm.
For an entry point for the build quality that you're getting from these cars, it's not bad. I think
Hmm.
it's a pretty good price point. If you want a Honda Accord, which has it's bigger. Obviously, it's much bigger than an A3.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
It's
if you want that big of a car, I would go and buy an A3 than buy a Honda Accord
right.
for the same amount of money.
Yeah, for the same amount. Yes,
For the same
obviously.
amount of money, I would buy an A3 compared to a Honda Accord. I don't need that much space. It's me and my wife. I don't need that much space. When
Yeah.
on the short time somebody else joins me, they use a backseat for maybe a half an hour. It's fine. I don't need to. I don't need to drive them in that kind of space any which way. I would rather have something that I enjoy driving and owning,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because you utilize at max two seats. which
Exactly.
is a driver and a passenger. So
Correct.
if you were to think that way, then yes, the German engineered cars makes more sense because you pay
Correct.
same amount of money, get more quality out of it.
Yeah.
But
And today, with the 5 year service and warranty package, you can't go wrong
n-
with them for 5 years at least. With BMW, it's what, 6 years or 7 years now, if I'm not mistaken.
they give you extendable
Yeah,
warranties
that
for
yeah,
7, yes, but
7 years. Yeah, Porsche renews your warranty for every 2 years for the next 10 years, for
yeah,
total of 10 years.
and you would obviously go for that because it
Yeah,
just makes more sense to just buy them, and then if you're planning to keep them for a longer time, it's the best because it also gives you resale values again
exactly,
when you
exactly.
have
And I
that.
keep my cars. Yeah, I keep my cars for 10, 11 years on
Yeah,
an average.
I mean, I'm sure we all do that because I just keep looking ways to make my car more interesting, and now I'm gonna think of more ways after this because this has given me time on this sort of make this as a project car or something for me.
Your BMW,
Yeah, my BMW.
the 500 horsepower 3 series coming across our way.
A tiny 1.5 liter, just giving everything out before dying eventually.
I think that would be a great project car because it handles well. It handles brilliant. The
Oh,
3 series of yours.
yeah. For a fact, anyways, BMW's
Yeah,
whichever model you pick up, handling
yeah.
is what you get now after that. But only part was it just lags a little bit in terms of power. So if I can find a solution to that,
Well,
I
you can always chip tune it initially, get a better exhaust,
I hope
better
BMW isn't listening to this. That's the only thing.
larger air filters,
I have
and
5 years warranty, so
or after 5 years over, then we'll talk.
no, it's all right. You can, you get those chips where you can just remove
Yeah,
and then,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
But you
not
should what you should do.
suggesting anything if you are
But you know
hearing
what you
this.
should do?
Yeah.
You should change the steering wheel. The basic, the basic steering wheel on that BMW 3 Series is pretty rubbish looking. You should get the M Sport
Oh,
steering wheel on it. It looks
yeah.
really good.
M Sport. Yes, yes, yes. So that's a good points that I'm noting down currently of what to do for my car. But
Well, the video is going to be live forever, so you can always go back and hear it.
yeah, but so anyways, let's not diverge from the topic. We've gone around
Yeah,
to how to build our cars now. So
yeah, that's true.
so
But
again, so the industry again, there was a report I read last week also that you obviously know how sales are so low in India currently. It's
correct,
so unimaginable that sales in India would drop so much that car industries would have to halt productions, stop production, have go to like job cuts and all. And China and India have been the biggest contributors to the auto market in worldwide.
correct,
I mean, in
correct.
taking that.
Yeah.
So I think after this lockdown gets over, I think India would be a market where the sales are going to pick up a lot. I feel
India is a very it's a very confusing economy.
confused.
To be honest.
Confused was the first word that.
Yeah, it's a very confusing economy. You know, when you go to see India, it's such a complicated market to be in any which ways. If you see
Hmm.
automakers, uh, pretty much everybody's burned their hands at it.
Yeah,
Okay, Ford gave up, General Motors gave up. I don't think any American company
Chevrolet.
is
Yeah,
there. Is there General Motors, right? Chevrolet.
yeah, yes.
Uh,
So
uh, I don't think any American manufacturer has been able to tap it successfully yet.
yeah.
Uh, Even the Germans are struggling, except for Mercedes. Well, Mercedes is been there for the longest time as such. Before they became independent, they were with Tata.
Yeah.
And Mercedes has a long, long history in India with all the Maharajas and all of that going and buying Mercedes cars, importing them,
Hmm.
getting
Hmm.
custom ones made. So there's a whole different heritage and history of Mercedes in India. But when it comes to cars,
Hmm.
Indians are very fascinated and very attracted with the Japanese and the South Koreans offerings. You know,
Yeah.
they seem to be understanding the Indian mentality very well, which is value for money and
Hmm.
or a bang for your buck. And in that, they have to give a decent car, a good-looking car, decent more than performance. It has to be like all the specs, you know, like
Yeah.
the size of the wheels and leather interiors and all the options, you know, stereo system and parking sensors and reversing camera and blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah.
Mm-hmm.
All the frills, all those things over performance, which is obviously very difficult to use in our country as such.
Yeah.
And every manufacturer focuses on that, especially the Japanese and the South Koreans, and that they want to give all of that in a decent price point.
Mm.
So you have, okay, which is the Suzuki Swift Sport, right?
Sport.
The Maruti, yeah, the Sport,
Swift.
which is
Yeah.
Swift Sport, which is available in Europe
Mm.
at what, at equivalent to 18 lakh rupees. Now
Yeah.
imagine going in India and telling somebody to buy a hatchback for 18 lakh rupees, and they're going to look at your face and say, "Are you crazy?
Yeah.
I will go buy a Kia Seltos, or I'll go buy a Tata Harrier, or
Yeah.
a Hyundai Creta." And
Yeah.
it's always value for money. It has to be like a big package at a smaller price.
Mm. Mm.
We had this whole segment of where the sub 4 meter segment come into India. I think
Oh
we are the only
yes.
who have those cars, right?
Yeah.
The Designer, and I don't know, I forgot which ones are there, but
But
that is,
that's so stupid. Like the cars, they actually look so hideous because to make them fall under that 4 meter, they've just suddenly just break it. Like they've broken the car from the back, just to
yeah,
make sure they meet that
yeah.
standard.
What is the new Hyundai one that came out? It looks so ugly.
It's the I
Accent,
don't
no,
remember.
not the,
No, no, no.
yeah, yeah, no. There's some other one, yeah, the new one that came out.
It's
It,
the replacement of that only, the accent. But
right,
yeah,
it's
it's
called something
been
else.
a
I can't remember the name.
yeah. But
Yeah, but it
anyways,
looks so bad. It looks so bad.
it's a nightmare. Like if you
Yeah,
see that car, you cannot unsee it. Like it's
yeah,
that bad
exactly.
because it's
Yeah, I
all,
mean,
and you can know that what Indians as a consumer they want, like more chrome. They have put that, especially everywhere outside the car, so that you don't
yeah,
have to go after that to buy something else and put it
yeah,
onto your car, more chrome.
yeah,
So that is all. They have given better interiors. So the points that you mentioned are actually all there in the car. So those
correct.
cars would actually work in India for sure.
Definitely, 100%, 100% they are going to work, because Hyundai and Maruti Suzuki they have tapped the market.
Yeah.
In a country that makes 3 million cars
Hmm.
every year,
Hmm.
which out of them a million or so are exported,
Yeah.
uh, 2 million is what we have sold locally.
Hmm.
Out of
Hmm.
that 2 million, I think 50% of the market is 50, or more than that. I think 60 to
60.
70%
Yeah.
is Maruti Suzuki and Hyundai together.
Yeah.
That means out of 200,000, you're looking at 70% of the market share by two brands,
Two brands.
which is a crazy figure, right?
Unbelievable.
Everybody else is just fighting for peanuts, looking at
And
them.
and if you add Toyota to that equation, there is nothing left after that for other manufacturers.
No,
Honestly.
but Toyota is not doing well in India, right? They are actually in backing off in a lot
Yeah.
of terms.
I mean, they are backing off, but then if you look at the MPV segment, they dominate that
Yes,
segment quite well. So,
the
which is what
Fortuner
is,
and the Innova, yeah,
yeah. So, which is what is keeping them floated out there in that market.
correct.
They've tried, with the hatchbacks, they've tried with the sedans and all of that, but nothing. There used to be the Corolla, which worked really well in India before, but then off lately, they just increased the
So
price and.
no, so what happened with the Corolla is an interesting story for all the brands in that segment. So
Hmm.
you have the Honda Civic at
Yeah.
there, and then you have the who else you have? I think you have the Hyundai Elantra, which was a competitor of
Elantra,
theirs.
Varna also, Hyundai
One
Varna,
was, sorry, the Elantra was a competitor to the Accord.
Accord. That's the
Yes, yeah, D segment. That's a D
the
segment. That's
D
one segment
segment.
above.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So sorry, it was a Verna, the
yeah.
Hyundai Verna,
Varna. Yes.
Skoda Octavia, which was there in that segment, the
Yeah.
Volkswagen Jetta.
Jetta.
No, not the Jetta. Jetta was anyways always expensive.
It's the Volkswagen Vento.
No, the Vento is the Honda City
Again,
version.
yeah,
The Vento is
Vento
only
is
one segment.
with
So Volkswagen didn't have anything in
Passat.
that.
Passat, I think. Yeah.
No, Passat is more expensive. So it's the Passat is the maximum, then
Nah,
Jetta,
Jetta.
then the Vento. So
Vento.
The Jetta is the one
It
that
falls
competes.
between, yeah, that
Yeah, yeah.
competition. So.
But they didn't get the price point right with the Jetta any which ways.
Mm,
But coming to that point where a Corolla became worth from, used to sell at 10, 11 lakhs few years ago, I mean, 10, 12 years ago.
yeah.
It's become what, I think 20 lakhs plus now. And in 19, 20 lakh price point, there were no SUVs earlier.
Hmm.
And obviously Indians love the SUV trend.
Yeah.
and so they just got onto the SUV bandwagon and or the CUV bandwagon. And if you give an Indian a 20 lakh rupee budget, they are not going to go and buy a sedan. They are going to
Yeah.
go buy an SUV. As simple as that. Starting with the Renault Duster, which destroyed the market when it entered. It
When
destroyed
it.
pretty much everybody else, and now it's the
Yeah.
Seltos that's doing it at this point of time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hector.
interest the Hector, yeah, but well,
Again,
I'm
the
going to reserve my opinions on that car.
exactly
Uh,
so.
yeah, but we had this. I read this article yesterday on Drivetribe that
Mhm.
there is this new Toyota Yaris CHV, CHR, something like that. Something like a crossover Yaris.
Mhm.
It looked so good. It was a hybrid vehicle. Obviously, we're not going to get hybrid
Ah.
in India.
Mhm.
But if Toyota starts bringing these cars into India, I really think it can do what Maruti and Hyundai are doing.
Yeah.
It came in with what was the Altos? What was that? I forgot the
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. Altos.
And
Yes.
or something like that, something with E. And
Yeah.
it looked so bad, that car, and it had nothing going for it in terms of design wise, styling,
There is
and
nothing.
obvious.
Just made for mass production. That's it. There is
Yeah,
nothing, no sense to that. But this car which you are discussing is, I think that is 250 plus bhp car also. Yeah, the
I
200.
can't remember. I can't remember. No, I can't remember. I could be wrong, but it was not that powerful. But it was a hybrid car.
Mm-hmm.
But any which way, if we start seeing Toyota bringing in these kind of cars, then there is definitely a
Market.
a market for it to come back. But you know what? One brand I'm very positive about in India is Tata. I love what Tata is doing
Oh,
with all its cars. I love the Harrier personally. I mean, that's a go-to car I would buy
it's
after the Skoda
remarkable. Yeah.
Octavia today.
Mm-hmm.
These. I mean, I think really Tata is really upping its game thanks to its acquisition of JLR, which has
JLR.
really given them access to a lot of tech and a lot of know-how which they lacked earlier. I definitely think they are in the right direction, and definitely looking forward to them performing well over the next period of 4 years.
Yeah, it's amazing that they have like a drastic turnaround in the last 3 years, 2, 3 years, from a
Yes,
brand
yes,
which made Tata Indica to a brand which now makes world class cars. In fact, my one of my family member owns a Hexa, and it's a
okay,
brilliant, like, the build quality is unbelievable. Like, when you compare, like, still a lot of till last year people would think that, again, Tata isn't that great with the build quality, but when they sat inside, everything, just the whole perspective changed, like, as a brand. And it's all thanks to, again, that JLR, sharing everything with them,
yeah,
and then all of that. In fact, it's good for India because they get to witness all these technologies
correct,
now into the market at a very reasonable price. And which is why even the Mercedes, BMW, and Audi, because they started producing locally, so they've gotten all
correct,
their costs down now,
correct,
like up to about like 40-50% down than their usual
correct,
prices, which is also helping
correct.
them with the sales. But
Oh, definitely,
it's just that one, like, from now on, a manufacturer that will be getting cars for the people at the right price, I think they are going to be readily taken up by people, also to do with the fact that the situation that we have on our hand. So
correct. So yeah, I think we could see a revival of a Tata Nano again. Maybe you never know.
okay. I think that's a car that's been written off long back now. So
I have one. I own one. I actually have one
I
in
have, yes, I have.
Dubai.
I've driven it honestly, but I've gone above
I
100. Not advisable to do that, but
I haven't gone up to 100 in that
I have.
car.
I've done some crazy, stupid stuff. Like, we'll sit down personally and chat about that, because I don't want my viewers to get scared about
Definitely.
that. So, but you already have an experience
I have
about
witnessed some
me,
of
so
it. I have witnessed some of it. Yes.
that epic shot.
I have a photograph of it. I should send it to you so you can actually
Oh yeah,
put it
do
over here.
send me. I would love to frame that one and put it
Okay,
on
I'm
my
going.
wall.
I'm going to edit it and send it to you. I'll gift it to you.
Okay, viewers, if you even want to learn from him about photography, he's the go-to guy, because he's been training me also slightly, but I'm gonna go full time after this, from now on, Because I know it's very, very
Yeah,
interesting. After I saw you, what you are doing with the photography, like it's pretty intense and pretty amazing to do that.
thank you. So I actually see AI getting implemented, but not in the car industry.
Hmm.
I see AI getting implemented in all other places where they can take out the human interaction.
But
And I actually see that happening. The people who will be affected by AI, I see that are going to be people who would be in the age wise on the higher side, and the
hmm,
people who will be employed by the AI industry will be people who are just coming out of universities and colleges and all of
yeah.
that.
Hmm.
So there will be a set off towards people who are actually more closer to retirement, who get laid off or get
Hmm.
changed by people who are looking for jobs.
Hmm.
Obviously, I could be completely wrong about it. I'm not saying I'm an expert at this. This is just my
We don't
assumption,
know.
right?
We never thought
Yeah,
2020 was a corona year, so.
yeah, exactly. But coming to the whole thought process as well is that with AI, it's just not to to implement AI. It's not just going to be one brand and one car that's going to be AI centric. For AI to work efficiently, every car has to be that way. Not even car, every vehicle on the road has to be implemented with that technology. So
Hmm.
that is going to be a whole different change of production, just
Yeah.
design wise. So you're going to have new chips,
Hmm.
new ways of communicating, new
Hmm.
software, new types of roads, new types
Hmm.
of traffic signals, new types of monitoring, new types of driver training programs,
Yeah.
new types of pedestrian safety. I mean, the whole industry changes by itself. For that to happen, we need a lot more investment. Again,
Hmm.
I don't know when that will happen. A lot more change in how cars function. So it may not be efficient for an AI to drive a petrol or a diesel car.
Hmm.
It has to
Hmm.
be maybe an EV or a more software driven product
Hmm.
rather
Hmm.
than a mechanical product to
Yeah.
be able to work efficiently.
Yeah.
Uh, the cars, all the vehicles on the road need to be able to communicate each other. So imagine all the brands need to be working on a similar or a communicating platform with each other. Try
Yeah.
sending a video in full resolution from your Android phone to your iPhone. You
Hmm.
still will be breaking heads.
Yeah.
Imagine
Makes sense. Yeah. Way.
still people don't know which software to use for it, and
Yeah.
Android and Apple's iPhone have been around for decades now, and
Yeah.
people still don't know how to do that yet, right? People still wonder how do they send a video in full res directly phone to phone rather than going
Phone.
to the drive and then downloading and all of that, right? So
Yeah.
imagine every vehicle communicating on the road with each other
Yeah.
efficiently, accurately, and doing the correct job.
So
So
that's a massive exercise also in itself, that every
definitely,
manufacturers have to get on board and start,
exactly,
cooperating to make
exactly.
sure everything works.
Exactly. And then you after this you have the communication systems. So your network. So either it's 5G, 5G, or it's a large Wi-Fi based LAN, large area
Yeah.
geographical LAN.
Hmm.
Apparently, is not was supposed to be the future, but is not the future anymore because 5G is the future.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
It's
obviously the storage space. So imagine everything running. Cloud computing is great, but what people don't realize about cloud computing is that you may not have a computer here in front of you, but there's a
it is
computer
stored
somewhere
somewhere.
else,
Yeah.
somewhere. There's a physical space
Yeah.
getting used in the middle of nowhere, but there is a physical space getting used,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be as small as a computer. It's actually going to be a skyscraper building or a
Yeah.
giant warehouse just filled with computers.
Yeah,
Uh,
as a matter of fact, even if you want to know right now also, YouTube, Google, and all these people have their servers, and if you see them, they are literally like buildings of servers
yeah,
where they store data of yours, or like in general whatever you
in
upload as
general
a
data, yeah,
video.
yeah,
Yeah.
and not only that, there has to be a backup of a backup of a backup.
By
So
yeah.
imagine you go to YouTube and you want to see a video and it's not available. You have never faced that. Imagine the shock that you get. The
But
reason why it happens is that because there is a backup of a backup, or I don't know how many
yeah.
backups are there. So when all of that happens in communicating and technology and cars driving on vehicles on the road, and the computers required to do that, and the servers and the internet
Yeah.
connectivity and the broadband and the cellular network just is unimaginable at this point of time. I mean,
And especially now when no one is going to put their hands into that for sure, because at least
exactly
that's like a few years down the line now. That has
right.
pushed at least 10 years behind, like all these things. And again, imagine like you can be without a video for like an hour or something where you'll be like, okay, my server is down. But imagine you sit
Right.
in your car and then you start the car and the car is like, I cannot communicate with anyone. And you're like, okay, I won't do anything for now then.
E-
Like wait for
Exactly.
an
Yeah. So
hour.
then, yeah, and then obviously all the electricity that needs to be supplied to these places, the amount of power that we
Yeah.
need to supply to these
If
places, right?
it's similar to how electric cars would need their own set of networks, so AI
Exactly.
would need a next level after that,
Correct.
just like I can't even imagine the world that we will be seeing once we have AI cars after that.
I'm pretty sure we will see it at one point of time. I just don't
We
know
will.
when.
Yeah.
I just don't know when. And see, people don't realize is that I think 60% of our electricity, whether it's for home consumption, it's for our businesses, whether it's for our production uses, or whether it's for transport, 60% still comes from coal and gas,
Yeah.
by
Hmm.
burning coal and gas.
Hmm. Hmm.
The rest of it comes from nuclear, geothermal, wind, solar,
Hmm.
etc., etc.,
Yeah.
etc. But everything will have some kind of long-term repercussion. So
Repercussion.
one example I was discussing with somebody when we did a entire electric vehicle road trip across South Africa in September. We
Hmm.
drove 2,000 kilometers from Pretoria
Yeah.
to Cape Town only in EVs.
Hmm.
Beautiful country. I mean, everybody should go to South Africa and visit it. It's a brilliant place once this whole thing opens up.
Things go
But
back to normal.
yeah, but what we're discussing is, imagine you need to start putting solar panels and solar fields for electricity consumption, electricity generation, right?
Hmm.
And you start putting multiple, like, massive solar panels in places.
Hmm.
What the solar panels also do is, while they take in the light, they also reflect back light into the atmosphere,
Atmosphere.
creating a greenhouse gas effect. So
Gas.
what light and heat was supposed to be absorbed by the ground, by the earth, is now reflected back in the
Reflected back.
atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then obviously the atmosphere is going to become hot, it's going to
Hmm.
become
Hmm.
warmer.
Hmm.
And how is that going to affect us in a long term, I don't know. And then on top of that, the ground that was used to be getting x amount of heat and
Sunlight and
sunlight and all, so whatever nutrients or wildlife or uh, you know bacteria and microbes and all the living things below
yeah.
that may
Hmm. Hmm.
survive, that making that whole place actually useless. Just,
Useless.
yeah. So that is, and this is just my thought process telling me that. I don't have any facts and figures to say that this is what it is, but this is just basic understanding that whenever we do something, every action has an equal and opposite
Um,
reaction.
yeah, I mean it to a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense actually, because and actually I never knew about this. Like the point that you highlighted about the solar panels, uh, radiating the light back into the atmosphere,
The heat
and
back.
yeah, the heat back. Sorry, so that being radiated again.
What people don't realize is every time you consume something, you are polluting something. So
Yeah.
whatever you have, every single thing has an effect somewhere.
Hmm.
So you cannot stop polluting, or what you can do is minimize the effect of your impact on earth.
Yeah.
uh, but as the largest dominant life form, or we have the not largest dominant, I'm pretty sure bacteria and all of that is the largest dominant
Yeah.
life form on earth.
Life.
but but we have a significant impact because we are complicating things by doing multiple things. So
Hmm.
example, a certain bacteria's job is only to provide nutrients. All it does that in its
Breaks
lifetime is
down. Yeah.
breaks down and does that one job.
Yeah.
Whereas we are impacting it in multiple forms, by traveling, by eating, the way we grow food, the way we travel, the way we consume things, the way we produce things. It's too complicated for us to be
It
able to
is.
calculate.
It is. Only a few years down the line, we'll know what can really happen now, or
Yes,
where are we
correct.
headed now. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, these. So in all, like AIs are going to take a backseat for sure, and
Yes,
at
definitely.
least in the factories. I mean, some factories are already have like some sort of AI going on. The paint shop where the robots are doing all the painting job
Correct.
and all of that,
Correct.
but not completely taken over. So let's see where that goes in that sense. But
Definitely.
to conclude, I think all in all, the car sales look definitely to pick up from after this situation gets over.
I definitely think they will. Well, they
Yeah,
will improve. I feel so.
yeah, a little bit, if not like drastically, but then marginally they are going to improve for sure. And I think manufacturers, if they start producing vehicles which are affordable, more affordable
Correct.
in
I
these
think it would be
times,
great. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they are
Yeah.
going to take the advantage right from the word go after this thing ends. But
Correct.
again, it's going to
100%.
take them time also to develop these new.
Definitely, it's going to take them time to be able to retool manufacturing, come up with design, safety, homologation,
Yes.
bureaucracy, etc. I mean, there's still a whole. So, but I would actually be interested into seeing is if they can revive some of their old platforms, which they may have done some research on, and see how quickly they can execute it. If that happens, I mean,
Hmm.
those guys are going to be able to are there in there for the long haul. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely,
I mean, look at Ford EcoSport. You know that one
yeah,
liter engine that they got. It
yeah,
was one of the most, I think, fruitiest car that was existing, because
correct,
it was compact. It was looking good. When you
yeah,
see it, like you wanted to drive it, like looking at it.
right.
We've had quite a bit of chat today. Like
Yes,
we
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 did. It
we
was
done a
interesting.
lot. Very interesting. I think my viewers would be liking it also. So if you like this
I hope they enjoy.
video, yeah, if you enjoy, make sure to give us a like so that we know that we'll be continuing. Don't worry, we'll be still continuing with the podcast. So and whenever he gets time from his busy schedule, we'll be doing it for sure. A podcast for you guys.
100%. 100%.
And make sure to check him out on his Instagram, his YouTube channel, and also his Drivetribe page also, which I'm going to be putting all the links in my description. So just make sure to head there and check him out
Looking forward to having you on Drive Tribe
very soon.
soon.
And
I'm interested to
also
see your reviews.
wait for our videos together, because we are
Oh yeah,
having something
we
in the pipeline.
think next 10 days or so. Let's see if we can start doing
Yes.
something.
Yes, hopefully everything's slowly getting to normal. Let's let's be hopeful. All we can do is
Perfect.
that. Till then,
Perfect.
quarantine life and
Social
podcast
distancing and
and
stay at
social
home.
and stay at home. Anyways, give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and if you are one of the subscribers watching this, or if you subscribe to my video, then thank you for subscribing. And until we meet next time, it's bye bye from me and Shivam. Take care and stay safe.
Bye, guys.